Hey, how's it going? This is Luke Stokes. It is May 27th, and I'm really excited to talk to you today about Morpheus's Gateway, the marketplace gateway API that is now live. It's really freaking cool. Just to give a quick summary again for those who are new to Morpheus, Morpheus is primarily a marketplace for accessing compute, and it's everything related to that. So if you are someone who needs to access open source models, maybe you can't host them on your own computer, maybe there's some restrictions in your jurisdiction about what type of models you can host, anything like that. Generally speaking, this is a cost that you have to be concerned about. The Morpheus ecosystem creates an opportunity where you can stake an asset, stake the Morpheus token, and access that compute, or you can host a model and benefit from hosting by earning the token from the chain. There's also some capital contribution rewards for those who stake their capital to earn Morpheus tokens, as well as rewards going to the coders and the builders of the protocol. So what's exciting about this is decentralization is one of those things that people don't really appreciate until they need it. And so they don't fully appreciate like why this matters. So I have three kids myself. I'm really care about the future, obviously, and I'm very concerned about where things are going. So people may or may not have access to intelligence. And Morpheus is this appreciation of the fact that sometimes certain governments may try to restrict access to information and access to intelligence in a way that is controlling and domineering and doesn't promote the principles of freedom that many of us enjoy. So Morpheus basically says, hey, we have to make sure that there's unrestricted access to intelligence through an open marketplace that anyone can participate in, regardless of where they're coming from or anything else. It's permissionless, no one can stop them, that kind of stuff. Now, with that extra layer of awesomeness, you often get usability concerns. You get challenges with actually figuring out all the details of how do I connect to this marketplace and create a bid to access this different model, and what happens if, in a decentralized network, my connection to this one fails and then this one opens up, and just it can create a lot of headaches for developers that often are too many hoops for people to jump through to get the benefit that they want. So the gateway makes all that super simple. And not only that, it's like free right now. So if you are working on a project and you need to add AI chat to it in any way, shape, or form, please check this out. It's really exciting, really amazing that you can play with this for free right now, really easily, up and running in minutes. I got to show it to you. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to walk through this really quickly. It's pretty exciting. So where you need to go right now, it's openbeta.more.org. Go ahead, click on register right here, create an account. It's very simple, name, email, that kind of a thing. And you can start creating your own API key right away. So I'm going to first start in the documentation. It's really well organized. This documentation is fantastic. It's very simple to understand. And I'm going to start with the one sheeter. So this is like kind of the basic image that explains the whole deal. Here's what's going on. This is a free AI inference, no gatekeepers, no limits. Access a decentralized AI compute with a simple API key, open API compatible, fully distributed, complete, free, completely free during the open beta. So again, this is just takes all the complexities and nuances of a decentralized open marketplace using blockchain tokens, use stake, the Morpheus token, and all this other stuff, and just makes it super, super simple. You get rid of a single point of failure. There's no unreasonable costs. There's no geographic restrictions like jurisdictions that might want to prevent you from accessing certain models, and you have data privacy. So it's pretty exciting. You get a decentralized inference, data compute allocation, permissionless access, drop-in replacement for anything you're using now. So let's say you're paying for something monthly right now, and you've got this API key, you can just drop in and start pointing it to this instead. Pretty awesome. So it provides access to the decentralized Morpheus compute marketplace where consumers of AI inference can prompt AI providers through our permissionless smart contract infrastructure. So for everyone, it's just free during beta. You can just play with it right now. You can have, integrated chat history and all of that kind of cool stuff. If you're a builder and you're out there building projects, you can have basically the what you're used to, an API gateway endpoint, an API key, connect to it, and just start going up and running. And then, of course, you can dive into the details of how you can stake your own Morpheus tokens and access inference as well. But as this says, it's free right now. As they say, it's free until it breaks or until we go broke. So this is the beta testing phase for this. We want everyone to jump in and take a look at this. So if you're building AI agents or apps, please come check it out. And for developers, if you're providing routing, there's no single point of failure. It's all fully open source infrastructure that you completely check out using the Lumen network. So it's really this simple. Just register, log in, create a key, turn on your automation, and start chatting. Now, the automation part is key because we're kind of doing this for you behind the scenes. But if you were developing this yourself, every time you're interacting with a different, let's say you connect to one host on the network, and it's again a peer-to-peer infrastructure system. It's really pretty cool that way. But if you connect with them and you're accessing a certain model, and then you're like, oh, I need to connect with a different one and access a different model, or maybe that node goes down and you connect with a different node. Well, all those interactions are going to be interactions that relate to your wallet. You're going to have to stake your token to create those connections. So when you turn on the automation, it's kind of handling that for you. It's basically accessing your wallet, staking those tokens, and that type of thing. So it's just kind of making sure that people understand that this is actually a full peer-to-peer system using wallet interaction, which is pretty exciting. So let's dive into this a little bit more. This goes into a little bit more detail about the compute router, how this works, again, how you're creating sessions with these LLM providers in a fully peer-to-peer way, which is pretty exciting. Again, if you're excited about Bitcoin, if you understand why Bitcoin has any value whatsoever, hopefully you're going to understand why, just like we've got, gas for Ethereum to do smart contracts, Morpheus is gas for accessing AI, AI agents, AI LLMs, all that kind of stuff. And it's also super important that it's done in a peer-to-peer decentralized way. So you can either pay directly with more, or you can stake your more. And this explains a little bit about that. There's even yeah, a different test where you can figure out how much all this, how much more do you have to stake for all that kind of stuff. And this explains the gateway. So prior to this, you had to kind of host your own proxy router. That would mean often like setting up something on maybe Amazon or some kind of cloud services provider. You have to set up this little router piece. And this is kind of this middleware which you connect to the router, and the router then connects to the different available options out on the decentralized marketplace. So this kind of cuts all of that out and just makes it super simple. Now, obviously, you can all do this yourself without using this router, but this is this gateway. But this is a way for you to kind of get up and running quickly. And it's kind of steps towards decentralization. Sometimes when you go full decentralization right off the bat, people are just confused, overwhelmed. It's too much integration work that they're not familiar with. This whole point of this gateway is to make it super familiar. You've got an API endpoint, you've got an API key, you're up and running. And that's how simple it is. You just pick the model you want and you go. So this is free while we're testing it. So please, definitely, if you know anyone that's working on an API project that has to connect to LLMs, point them to this right now, openbeta.more.org, and let them check it out. And it's really something they can be up and running with super quick. You've got your base URL. You've got the full Swagger docs, which is pretty awesome. If anyone has been using any APIs at all, they're very familiar, most likely, with Swagger. All the different documentations here. Probably you can register, log in, everything that you're doing from this web page that makes it easy. You can do this directly through the API, managing your keys, your private key delegations, all this stuff, figuring out which models are available, connecting with the chats, the sessions, all of that stuff, and the automation we talked about earlier. So everything is available right here in the documentation, which is pretty freaking cool. And yeah, you've got all this stuff here. So what we're looking for, what I'm creating this video for, is to try and get more people to check this out. If you want to check out a gateway that's free, gives you access to the models using this decentralized feature, please come check it out and let us know what you think. Jump in the Discord, jump in the community, hit us on Twitter, hit us anywhere. We got links down here. You got Discord, you got GitHub, you got Twitter, you got the website, and of course the Swagger UI. Definitely let us know what you think about this. And also, too, we'll get to that in a second, but there's some integration guides. So if there's things you're using like Cursor or Brave Leo, Open Web UI, we already have those integrations done, and Eliza's coming soon. So let's go on a little bit further, how to use this. What I love about this documentation is there's fantastic video tutorials. So right here, here's a 5-minute tutorial walking you through the whole thing. So I'm not going to go through all of this because, again, it's got these awesome tutorials sitting right here explaining everything about how to do all of this stuff. So if you're interested, please come check it out. And even again, it's like, okay, sign up, log in, access the dashboard, create your API key, turn on automation, start your testing. It's that simple. You can just get up and running super, super quick. And there's even videos specifically on how to do the API key. This is walking through how to do it using Swagger. So if you're a developer and you're like, okay, I need to actually connect directly and create my keys, this is how you can do it. Explains and accessing it, registering a user, getting your access token, and it's got the Coral example. If you're a developer, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. Shows you the JSON response that you can parse in your application or whatever you're building. All this cool stuff is right here, and everything you need to get up and running, you'd be set. You can, again, shows you how to view the models. This is, again, using Swagger. You can go through here, look at all the different models that are available in the marketplace. And this is dynamic, of course, because different providers are going to be providing different models at different times. You can access all of that. As of today, I think Venice Uncensored is now being hosted here. All these open source models are going to be available. Really cool stuff. And this explains everything you need to know to get up and running very quickly. And then this is some more. This is like a longer video. I think it's about 11 minutes. Yeah, this is like a 10-minute video talking about all about Swagger, how to use it. Again, if you're a developer, Swagger's not going to be new to you. You're going to be very familiar with it. But if you're new to using Swagger UI and how to play around with API endpoints and test them, this is a super helpful tool. Definitely check this video out and explains the whole deal of how everything works. Again, this explains how to register and everything using Swagger. Now on to the integration guides. If you're using Cursor, which is an IDE for coding, code editor, this goes through and it says, okay, install Cursor, open the settings, go down to the models, add your model, all this kind of stuff, and then you set up your API. So this is pretty cool. Instead of opening API, you can now use a decentralized marketplace of AI, which is pretty exciting. And again, instead of having to pay for it, you can stake your tokens. So what used to be a fee, which used to be a cost center, can now be an asset class that you're storing, whether it's in your organization or as a consultant, something that used to you have to, pay monthly for, you can now just actually get by staking your tokens. Pretty exciting. We think it's important. If you're familiar with Brave Leo, this is a AI assistant integrated in the Brave browser, providing privacy first AI capabilities, obviously very aligned with Morpheus and everything we're doing. So check this out. You can again drop in your Morpheus API key, have everything up and running, and do the same kind of stuff. So more and more examples of where you can just plug in the Morpheus API gateway and be up and running with anything you're using that you normally have to use a centralized system where who knows what they're doing with your data, who knows how much it's going to cost. Same thing with OpenWeb UI. I've got a full video here. All of these have videos. Here's an 11-minute video walking you through exactly how to set up API, how to get it all configured and everything. It's really detailed. In this case, I think they're using Amazon Web Services to go ahead and set this all up. Um, and they're going to have a full integration guide. Same thing with Eliza, full integration guide coming. This is some exciting stuff. If you want to get involved with this, please come check it out and also participate. Like you could add some additional guides. You can provide a lot more. So again, I'm going to show just a quick example. I go ahead and I already created my key earlier, which again, all those videos even show how to do. I'm going to go to Venice Uncensored. I'll say, tell me a filthy joke. Let's see what it says. Probably can't do that. What's the difference between a G spot and a golf ball? Then we'll actually search for a golf ball. Nice. But yeah, there's certain things that you just can't do with certain models. You ask them stuff and they're going to be like, I'm sorry, Dave, I can't open the pod bay doors. And frankly, that's a little concerning. I think everyone should have unrestricted access to intelligence. Obviously, parent, we have to be careful with our children and what they get exposed to. But ultimately, when we're going to be potentially letting go of employees because we think AI is going to do the job and all of a sudden the AI just can't answer our questions anymore, that's going to be a problem. This is a really great interface. Again, as a software developer back in the day, it's been a while. These are the type of things that I always wanted people to provide. One, quick access to an API key. Sometimes you have to jump through all kinds of hoops to even test something. In this case, register, click create key, you're up and running. Now you've got the key in here. You want to be like, okay, how does this actually work? Um, what are the parameters that I'm sending? What does the request look like? What does the response look like? All that kind of stuff can be figured out here. And it shows you, okay, here's how you have to structure your request. Here's how the response is going to be. Um, what do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. And so it just kind of gives you the structure that you can start working with as a coder, which is really, really helpful. And yeah, that's it. And so it's got the chat, it's got the test, the docs are back here, and then the home is where we started. Uh, Definitely please check this out. I think it's freaking amazing, really cool stuff. And this is the future. I mean, this is what's so important because the whole world seems to be focusing on AI. And if we just let governments and centralized organizations dictate to us what access to intelligence we can have, we're probably not going to have a very good time of it. And I think it's really important that we understand this and we come into this future with open eyes and recognize that we have to put our money and time and energy into things we value according to our values. And that includes the importance of decentralization, a self-sovereign access to your own intelligence that no one can restrict, and a way that eventually, as this becomes more privacy secure with secure execution environments and other technologies that Morpheus is working with as well, eventually we're going to be able to get to a place where this stuff can stay private, either to your own computer or private to nodes who can't access at all what type of questions you're asking or what kind of data you're sharing. And all of that, again, I think is really, really important for self-sovereignty and for freedom and liberty. So hopefully this resonates with you. Hopefully you're as excited about it as I am. I think it's very, very cool. And you'll go ahead and tell your friends about this. One of the things that Morpheus needs a lot of help with is getting the word out. So please share this video with your friends, anybody involved in AI, anybody building in AI. They should know about this because if they're paying a centralized service and they feel bad about that and they don't believe that's the future they want to be a part of, have them look into the Morpheus network, have them look into something that's decentralized, self-sovereign, and can really pave a way to a future where we all get to play a role instead of just whatever the big guys tell us we have to go along with. Hope you're having an awesome day or night wherever you are, and thanks so much for watching. Take care.